Well, Bishop Nicholas Hudson, the 29th of November, your installation date as Bishop of Plymouth, is fast approaching. Just tell me how you feel about becoming Bishop of Plymouth.
Well, I'm very excited. I'm aware that the diocese has been waiting a long time for a bishop, and I can't wait to begin.
And you have West Country roots, do you not?
Yeah, my dad came from an army family, and then when he was very young, they left India and came to Plymouth, and they lived first in Dorset, in Parkston, and then they came to live in Plymouth itself at Crown Hill, and then they lived in Yelverton before he went a little bit further eastwards to Clifton College.
Now look, in any diocese you have a spectrum of the generations, all sorts of people from all sorts of backgrounds and places. How are you hoping to relate to the old, the young and everything in between?
Well, I want to be a listening bishop, and I want to make a real priority of listening from the outset, and I want to listen in a special way to the clergy, of course, but I want to also be able to listen to people from across the generations. And in my former diocese of Westminster, I've spent a lot of time with young people, going with them to different parts of the world for World Youth Day and that sort of thing, and different pilgrimages, and I found it very important just to spend time with them. And I want to give some time to the young people and really to get to know how they see themselves contributing to the life of the church.
Now look, it's obviously unfair to ask you what your plan is for the diocese, that you've not taken charge as it were yet, but for those that are wondering what your style is like and what sort of a person you are, what would you say to them? What would your message be to the people?
People all my life, since I was a teenager at least, have always said I'm a good listener, and I'm pleased that people still characterise me as such. I think the 12 years that I was an auxiliary bishop in Westminster, interestingly, I had 55 parishes there, which took me a while to get to know, and my style there was to meet with the key people in each of the parish, not just the clergy, but also lay people who had particularly significant roles, and just listen to their hopes for the parish, and their hopes also for the deanery and the ways that they felt the parish could deepen its mission and develop its mission. And I think that will be very much my style there. In terms of how one structures it, I think going to deaneries first, that already gives one different areas of the diocese to begin to get impressions of, and then I'll need to develop a strategy to see how I can systematically listen to the diocese across the board.
This might segue into this question then. So what do you see as the key challenges and opportunities potentially for the Catholic community in this region?
I think that the key challenge will be to develop our sense of being one family, one diocesan family across the three counties. But I'm also aware that I'm the new one coming into this community, and that I'll need to ask people what it is like to live this reality. What's it like if you come from Penzance, and how do you feel in relation to Poole, and what's it mean to belong to such a huge community? But I do hope that the years that I'm in Plymouth, I'll be able to build that sense of community along with other people.
And of course, we're nearing the end of the Jubilee Year of Hope. What does hope mean to you as you take up this new role?
Hope means a lot to me. And I've always felt that hope is something that I have deep in my heart. And I think all the years I've been a priest and a bishop, I've always wanted to communicate a sense of hope. And that's a hope in the Lord himself. There's this wonderful line that St. Paul uses in his letter to Timothy when he says, I know who it is whom I have put my trust in. I know who it is whom I have put my trust in. It always strikes me that the words from the psalm, which I've taken for my own motto, which is in te Domine speramus, which is, of course, in you, Lord, we hope, is often translated as in you, Lord, we trust. Trust and hope are very close, and as I prepare myself to begin to be the Bishop of Plymouth, I'm looking forward to communicate that dual sense of trust and hope.
And we've obviously, at the Bishops' Conference centrally, we know a fair bit about your passions, your passion for the Holy Land, some of your devotional passions with regard to Saint Carlo Acutis, as is now. What would your prayer be for the Diocese of Plymouth, and what might you ask in return with regard to their prayers?
The saints do mean a lot to me, as they do to so many of us, and I'm very excited that I'm being installed on the patron saint, on the feast day of one of the two patron saints of the diocese. The diocese has two patron saints, St Boniface and St Cuthbert Maine, and he was extraordinarily brave in his witness to the faith. And you mentioned St Carlo Acutis. I think the time that I'm in Plymouth, people will often hear me talking about St Carlo Acutis. I think he's a saint for all of us, but in a special way for children and young people. And I will be asking his intercession, newly canonised as he is, his intercession along with our patron saints for the Diocese of Plymouth.